So in the study, it's in behind me, it's on my screen, almost all participants presenting with at least one viral infection per year. Remember that coronavirus made up in a seasonality, in the season, all right, from around late November, December on to ending in April. That seasonality in red here was basically the infection rate. We've already hit the peak, we're past the peak already, and we're on the downward decline. We're basically where every season they tested for coronavirus, it was already going to be eliminated in early April, all right? So 25% of the population typically got, 25% of the U.S. population. Because of this study, we know that 25% of the U.S. population would likely contract coronavirus in a time frame from November to the beginning of April. That makes up, so if the U.S. population is 329 plus million people, 25% makes 82,306,000, roughly 82 million plus individuals contracted coronaviruses. It's a class of viruses, all right? Contracted coronaviruses already this season. So here's what they do. They don't show you what is going to happen seasonally with the class of virus of coronaviruses. And a portion of these people seasonally in the past, they died. Remember, I think it was 5% they said. If I had to go and let me check the study so I can give you accurate numbers here. So influenza was estimated to affect roughly 5% of the total seasonal infections. 5%, folks, and that's in light blue. Can you put it up on the screen for them? In that light blue line, and that is typically roughly late December, goes up really quickly, and then ends in February. That is flu season, folks, all right? It's January to February. Right, it's basically just January. That's flu season. And that makes up 5% of the total respiratory infections. All right? 25% of the people getting sick in the fall to spring is coronavirus. The majority of people sick this fall to spring to today's date was because of coronaviruses. And they knew that. So they let the people get sick, but they didn't care about testing coronavirus from November till February. All of a sudden they say, oh, let's create a scare. Let's start testing for something that we know is already there. Again, I'm showing a 2019 study that they said, we already know coronavirus is going to circulate. We know it's going to be there. We know we're going to start testing at the very peak. So we'll start testing. We'll use these tests, and we'll only test the very severe cases in a hospital so that what we can then do is say, we tested 10 people that were already in severe situations with pneumonia and severe illness, like the elderly, like the susceptible, like the cancer patients, all those individuals who are susceptible. Let's just test them. And then we can say, holy cow, 3 of those people died that we tested. It's a 30% mortality rate. Think about it. When they first started talking, their estimates of mortality rate were horrific. This sounded like the worst thing that ever hit humanity. And then now that they're actually testing, they're saying this is basically a mortality rate similar to the flu. If it's a mortality rate similar to the flu, guess what? Then if 5% of the total infections are flu, and this has a similar mortality rate to the flu, then we've got 5 times the people who are sick with pneumonia, are sick with coronaviruses in a hospital with pneumonia and dying from pneumonia because of coronaviruses or with coronaviruses than we did from flu. So they knew their numbers would be there. So they start testing, and they test only the really susceptible, the severe cases, so it makes the mortality rate look horrible. And then they start testing the general population, but they still have that, they padded the numbers with only testing severe cases. So they knew they could keep their statistics in their favor to keep scaring the public that this was a deadly virus. And they start testing, and they say, look at the rate, it's skyrocketing, it's spreading everywhere. No, it was already everywhere. You knew it would be everywhere. But see, they don't show you what they already knew was going to happen. Instead, all they show you is this right here. That's all they show you, what they're testing. They don't tell you that 25% of the world's population, the US population from this study, the New York City population, was going to have the virus from November till April. And then Fauci's now saying that we're going to see this in the next week just plummet. We're going to see it. He is supposedly predicting, he's predicting coronavirus turnaround in this week. It always turns around in April. You knew that. You knew it already. So what they're going to say is we implemented right here, the end of March, we implemented a stay-at-home order. Everybody stay home. Nobody go anywhere. You can't even go to the park and play on a swing set, for God's sake. We need to arrest the father who's swinging his child on a park with nobody else around. As if it's a crime to be there with your family in the open air, but you can go home and sleep with your wife. And that would be technically, they should be able to go and arrest husbands and wives making love or giving hugs to their children and playing outside in their backyard because they're ignoring social distancing. You must stay 6 feet away from each other. Now we have police officers. And let me address that real quick. Here's something I want to say to all the police officers who think it's a good idea to hold up this law, to arrest people for freely traveling. You are violating the Constitution of the United States. And when you do that, you become an enemy of the United States people. That's what you become. You uphold the Constitution. You do not go out and enforce an unjust law. You do not arrest a father, handcuff him, put him in the back of a police car because he's playing and hanging out with his wife and child at a park. Look the article up. Folks, they start testing here, they quarantine here, stay-at-home orders, and then they're gonna hit here, and oh, wait, testing just suddenly falls off, and no more pandemic. And who's going to get the credit? Because you didn't see this. This was nowhere to be, well, it was on PubMed. Again, everybody's got access to the article now. You can go and spread the word that they already knew exactly what was going to happen. They knew. Show the screen again. 2000. Right there. And this, I'm going to highlight, look at this, right there. November, starting in November, ending in April. They knew that that was going to happen. But they're going to sit here, never show the world this, the study they already have. Go back to me, Ashley. All they're going to show people is their numbers and statistics. We're not in a pandemic, folks. We're in a propagandemic. They knew the numbers beforehand. They knew what would happen automatically. Without any quarantine, they knew exactly what was going to happen. They already knew that 5 times more people fall ill because of coronavirus every season. But the majority of the world will not see what's behind the curtain. the majority of the world will not see how they're playing us. You know what? Fauci's got a fiddle, and it's called America. He is playing us like a fiddle, folks. He's not playing me like a fiddle. He's not playing you like a fiddle anymore. But he is playing the world. The pharmaceutical, the vaccine industry, the Gates Foundation, they're all playing the world right now like a fiddle. They've got people scared. They have driven up the greatest level of fear that this world has ever faced in terms of illnesses and infections. And they did it upon knowing what would happen every season.